Hey guys, what's going on? It's King Egotist back, and basically we're going to do a reaction today to the Andrew Tate statement. It's been about a week out. I was going to do this like the other day, but had a bit going on. But let's jump straight into it because he's basically put something out for the world regarding the BBC interview. Let's take a look.
In the interest of saving absolutely everybody's time, I feel like doing a generalized statement to all legacy media inside of the Matrix. And I'm doing it to save their time and mine, as well as protect the minds of the masculine youth for the future. I want to make it very clear that the legacy media, which I enjoyed the company of today, have made a massive mistake and missed a chance to do some genuinely interesting journalism. After being unfairly incarcerated in a Romanian dungeon, I thought that even the BBC, in its absolute arrogance and hubris, would be smart enough to come to me after 6 months, being the first interview I gave to the Matrix, and be smart enough to ask questions people were genuinely interested in. What's it like inside of a Romanian prison cell? How were you treated? Why was a person's liberty deprived of them for 6 months? Without charge? How is your mental state post your unfair incarceration?
See, my opinion on this is up to now straight away is why does Andrew Tate do this? I mean, what he's got to realise is that the Matrix is the Matrix, man. Like, BBC are like the most the dirtiest media. Everything's all fake. And to them, bad news is better than good news, so nothing they're gonna publish is gonna be anything remotely good. So, you know, what do you expect? No offense, but they're just absolute pricks, say the least.
Sitting down with me and missing the chance to have a genuinely interesting interview with genuinely interesting questions that people are interested in hearing the answers to, and instead attempting this attack to get this bombshell aha moment is never going to work. Because one, I'm too smart for all of you, and two, nobody cares. Nobody cares I made a joke 8 years ago, because everybody knows I was joking, and everybody knows the truth of my message. So you're wasting absolutely everybody's time. Worse than wasting everybody's time, what you're genuinely doing is damaging the minds of young men. And I think I have a responsibility as one of the most influential men on the planet to protect the minds of young men and all of the men who look up to me. Nobody, no young man below the age of 30 has any interest in what the BBC or the legacy media say. They don't care and they don't watch it, unless I appear on there. So when I sit across from a reporter who says that having a nice car makes you a misogynist, it's disingenuous.
You
and
also
also
the financial success
correct.
with a Bugatti and a cigar, but it comes with a side order of misogyny.
How?
Right, if I can just say, like, I've not done a YouTube video, but I watched that interview. Funnily enough, I watched it with my mum, who's someone who's, you know, in the 40s. So, no, we're talking like a different generation thing, where we're going to have, like, different perceptions on things. And even my mum agreed, BBC are just a bunch of idiots. Like, I don't see how that's misogyny, because to be quite honest with you, it's just success. At the end of the day, you know, it really, really is. And I'm not being funny. If I had a Bugatti and a cigar and I've worked my absolute arse off for it and I've achieved that, then I'm not being funny. Like, you want to call me misogynist? Fair play, I wouldn't really be bothered, but I don't see how, sort of thing. I think they're just trying to attack him any way physically possible, and they're just trying to connect dots that are just not there, and make up a load of BS. It's this is why I don't watch the BBC. Like, and it's funnily enough, it's actually true, because when Andrew Tate did appear on things, I watched it, you know, sort of thing. Because if it was just the BBC in general, you know, doing the random shit reports that they do, I would not watch it. I think it's toxic as fuck. I think no one should watch it. And I think if everyone stopped watching it, then they would eventually get no views and they would cancel. So, you know, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. So, as long as people watch it, we have to deal with their fucking bullshit, basically.
How does having a Bugatti and a cigar come with misogyny?
Because it's all mixed together in what you teach.
I find that to be extremely dangerous rhetoric. I find that to be extremist rhetoric. And I think it's very dangerous for young men to think if they work hard for something in their lives, if they dedicate themselves and they're diligent and hardworking and they try hard, that they'll be a bad person. I hate the idea of a world where a man who dedicates himself to excellence so he can enjoy the finer things in life is criticized and ostracized and called horrible names purely because he's been a hardworking male. And I don't like young men hearing these extremist ideas. And they're only going to hear these extremist ideas if they watch the BBC, which is an extremist organization. And they're only going to watch the BBC if I talk to the BBC. So I feel like now that these people have proved themselves to be extremist and very damaging to the minds of young men, I have an obligation to not interact with them very much, because I don't want them spreading their extremist propaganda. We have a men's mental health crisis. Young men are disenfranchised. The suicide rate amongst men is much higher than women, and everybody pretends to care. But when I come along and say, I am a man, I've been a man, I know how it feels to be a sad man and a happy man, and I found happiness through masculine achievement and strength, through working hard in the gym, through dedicating myself, through building a life worth living, through taking care of the people who I love, both male and female, through becoming financially successful, through sticking up for myself, through having opinions, through being a man of honor and courage. When I do these things, I'm ostracized, and they're attempting to destroy my life. This goes beyond a few media interviews.
I will comment on this, right? I see, it's hard for me because when I give an opinion, I'm giving an opinion as a man as well. And to be quite honest with you, I do agree with him. There's a male mental health crisis, and the problem is no one's really looking at it. It's a hard one, to be honest with you, on this one. I totally agree with everything that he says, you know, sort of thing. And it's like the government are trying to, like, move the attention to something else at the moment. Like, shit, that don't really matters. Like, we're constantly getting focused on daft things. I was watching, like, TV the other day, and I'm flicking through, and they're just there talking about, you know, like, meals to make in like fucking 2 minutes and shit, and it's just like I'm scrolling through and I'm seeing really, really pointless shit. And it's like he said, I think he mentioned something as well about knife crime, something like that's at its height at the moment. But you know, he's apparently the most negative thing on the planet sort of thing, and he's damaging the UK. And that knife crime thing has been there for absolute way before he was there. So the fact that people are saying like he's damaging the youth or anything, it's wrong. He's just bringing traditional values back in males, and I think he should. You know, if you're going to respect, you know, people changing traditional values, we should also respect people that bring in traditional values back. They just don't like him. It's simple as that, and they just want to get rid of him. So what did he do? Instead of letting him have freedom of speech, you just ban him off everything and just say, fuck you. And I'm not being funny. YouTube is known for it. Twitch is known for it. You know, it's a joke because it's all controlled by the Matrix. And we've got to basically come to terms with that.
They are attempting to put me in jail and destroy my life because I am helping young men. They don't care about men's mental health. They have no interest at all. In fact, the ideas they purport, like I've just explained, are genuinely damaging to the mindset of young men. On top of this, they waste everybody's time because their aha moment never works. Nobody's interested in it, and I destroy them with ease. But my hourly rate is high. It's not very fun for me to do. I just do it. It has to be done, but I don't particularly enjoy it. I allowed you into my home. I'm doing you a favor, giving you the first interview I'm giving to the public. You don't come here with a position of authority. You're not the police. I don't respect the BBC. I don't know you. You do not come here with a position of authority over me. We are equals. We are people. We're citizens of the world, and we sit here as equals. And I see you as my equal, and if you ask me questions, I can ask you questions back. For you to come here and sit down and pretend you're the Gestapo and that you don't have to answer my questions is disingenuous because I don't owe you anything.
Asking questions and you answer.
But I don't owe, no,
however you want.
This is a conversation, and I don't owe you any degree of authority over me.
Can I just say that's absolutely true? Now, I did see a few glimpses interview before I watched this, and I'm going to say it's absolutely true. Like, the way they just come into his house, from what I can see, and just hammering him full of questions and accusations, and I'm not being funny, like, he's doing them a favour. He's making them money, getting them views, and they're coming into his house and speaking to him like that. I mean, she's ruined her career. Like, no joke. No one's gonna, like, she's basically a fall guy to this. Like, she's gone in there and they thought we just need to throw someone because she's made herself look like a complete tosser, basically. And it's just respecting it. You don't walk into someone's home and do that. You know, it's just a massive insult. And it's like like you say, she's walking with a level of authority. You know, an interview like this should be a two-way conversation. So the fact she sat there with a smug little plain face, smug little plain face, that would make no sense, but she sat there, like, look at her face, just hammering questions. It's just disrespectful as fuck. And I'm surprised he didn't just walk out and say, do you know what? Fuck this. See you in a bit. I really am surprised he finished the interview, but obviously he's got a point to prove.
So let's make that clear. And that doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or from the BBC or the CNN. I'm here to answer your questions and be honest with you and do you a favor.
Great.
And I'm doing you a favor. But you come here with loaded questions. You're trying to paint a narrative of me which is negative.
I'm asking you about things you've said that people are concerned about.
And that's fine. But you're not going to sit here and say you don't answer my questions because you're not above me. So, in the interest of spreading good and positivity in the world, which is my number one objective, I am making this clear to all legacy media outlets. I will no longer interact with you for free. Nobody cares that you lie about me, and nobody cares what you say. You have destroyed all of your credibility in the last 4 years of constantly lying about everything. And continuing to lie about me will only destroy your credibility further. I have an organization called Tate Pledge, which you can see. Go to CobraTate.com and click at Tate Pledge, and you will see that I dedicate $25 million a year to feeding children, both male and female, in war-torn countries. I would like to think that even the legacy media can agree that feeding children in Sudan, or Turkish children after an earthquake, or Syrian children in refugee camps is a pretty positive thing to do for the world. In my last BBC interview, she tried to spin it and say that what I'm doing is somehow negative because I'm only doing it for myself. But this is the level of delusion these people operate under.
Because some people would look at that and say, okay, so before you got money from attracting people to your website by making controversial comments, but that might have got you into trouble. And so now you're looking for a new market.
It's just absolute BS. You can't do right for doing wrong, can you? You literally got all that money, he's doing something positive, but now we're going to spin it off and make it out like it's fucking negative and he's the worst man on the planet. Like, I'm not being funny. It's just a joke. Like, you can't do right for doing wrong, and he has got a point. If they're gonna spin off all this bullshit, at least charge him. You know, because at least if they're gonna spray bullshit and he's taking money off them, at least it's going to a good cause. Where they can put money into feeding children. Because I'm not being funny. Like, we need more positivity in the world, and this is why I think he's good for the world by doing this. And he's got nothing to hide. He's putting it all there. Go to his website. It's, you know, knowing Tate, he's probably got books and receipts and everything ready just to say, look, I'm not lying. Here it is. This is not a marketing scheme. I'm generally giving money out of my own pocket to feed hungry kids. So how can you hate a guy like this? You just can't. There's nothing they can say or do to him at this point to recover that stupid accusation. Bitch.
Looking for a new market of followers who are attracted by a different sort of persona.
I've always done the charity work, so that is obviously incorrect, and I have proof that I've always done the charity work, so you're wrong. Tate Pledge is funded 100% by me. This is my personal money. But I believe if the legacy media is intent on spreading hate, intent on spreading extremist ideologies, which it seems they are, not only the extremist ideology that men shouldn't work hard, but also a bunch of other ones, which I don't need to mention because most thinking people understand what the legacy media is trying to purport on not only the population, but the young children of the world. And what they are trying to push is far more damaging than me saying you should go to the gym. Therefore, I no longer have any interest with interacting with the legacy media for free because I don't want their extremist views shown to young children without doing some good for the world. My fee from this point onwards is $50,000 and a box of chocolates. That is what it is going to cost you to speak to me. If you are from the Matrix, you will give me $50,000 in advance, which will be donated to Tate Pledge, which will be used to feed children in war-torn countries. And you will also bring a box of chocolates to my gate, which I will ingest as I listen to your Matrix propaganda and destroy you. Because I deserve chocolates if I have to put up with you.
I think that's pretty reasonable. I think that's pretty fair. You know, I hope the whole, you know, bring me chocolate sort of thing. I mean, I seen that news product come down, he just wouldn't give the chocolates at the gate, and he was just like, well, you're not going to get an interview then. I think it's absolutely top. You know, 50,000, but he should be charging more, to be fair. I mean, let's be honest, they've got money. Like, 50,000 is nothing to them. So if they start bitching and grumbling over $50,000, then obviously, was it dollars or pounds or whatever? If they grumble over 50,000, then obviously, you know, it's just not worth it. Because that just means the stuffy little bastards that can't even bother spending money to feed hungry kids to get an interview. And if that doesn't say anything, then what can? Honestly, it's fucking bollocks.
I am an extremely successful man, and my time is valuable. And you're wasting mine, yours, and everybody else's. So if you're going to come along with your extremist ideas, I would at least sleep better at night if you were feeding some poor, innocent children somewhere in the world. But you have no interest in doing any good for the earth. You're only interested in spreading hate, unlike me who wants to do good things. So, post my BBC interview, I've been contacted by the New York Times, CNN, the Clinton News Network, all of them. And they're all desperate to interview me because they understand the number of views it will get. I want to try now, I want to try now. And they all want to try a different version of the same aha moment. Not understanding, because they're completely detached from reality, that it's not an aha moment and nobody cares. They're not interested, they're not smart enough to look at the board of the chessboard and say, this isn't going to work. Let's ask him questions people actually care about. They're not that smart. So if you want to waste your time and mine, that's what it's going to cost you. $50,000, I managed to procure meals at around 80 cents each, so we'll feed over 60,000 children for wasting an hour of my time, plus a box of chocolates. That is my fee from this point forward. I will still speak to non-Matrix media outlets who are interested in the truth, interested in asking interesting questions that people want to hear the answers to. I will still be available to do my own podcasts and tell the truth. But as long as legacy media retain their reputation as peddlers of extremist ideology, I no longer have any interest in promoting them and making them relevant. It's better we allow them to become irrelevant, which they are doing, through their own dishonest actions. I will no longer interact with any of you for free ever again.
I mean, he has got a point there. He really does. I mean, you know, the more he does interviews, the more he's making them relevant, which is the more they're on the platform, and the more they get to spread all their shit. And the fact he can procure meals for like 80 cents each, you know, I just imagine how much that money will feed people. It's just, you do the maths, it's mad. It's gonna be, you're gonna be feeding so many children. So you know what? Go on then. If you want to interview Andrew Tate, then obviously give him the money and do it. Because to be honest with you, if I get pissed off watching another interview of them trying to do all their propaganda shit, I'll even feel better knowing that they're feeding hungry kids around the world and they're actually going to sleep on full bellies. So do you know what? Yeah, that's all I can say on that one. 100% agree.
To the 64 journalists who have emailed me so far since the BBC interview, do you have $50,000 in a box of chocolates? Because I'm not interested in speaking to you for any other reason. I actually think I'm being quite kind only charging 50 grand. I should charge 200 grand, but I'm a nice man. And $50,000 will still feed a lot of children. I promise any legacy media outlet that pays me the fee can have an interview. And I also promise to provide full accounting and receipts to prove that that money goes directly to charity, to feeding children in war-torn countries. But I will no longer allow the Matrix propaganda machine to infect the minds of innocent children by using my relevance to achieve interviews and get views they would never normally get to spread hateful propaganda.
I told you, so like I say, Andrew Tate's that guy that will have receipts, he'll have his proof, and he will say, listen, it's going there, and there's nothing he can do. And he is, like I said before, he is right, he could charge more, let's be honest. 50,000 to them is absolutely fuck all. Like, it really isn't. So, that is sort of a nice, you know, thing that he's done. And he's a nice guy for that, because I'm not being funny, like, if they bitch about it, then, you know what? Money's more important to them than doing an interview, which is going to make them more relevant and also feeding kids. So, honestly, if that's the case, let's just make them irrelevant, don't watch them, and stop watching their propaganda shit.
If you can't afford me, you're going to have to go back to just lying about me without speaking to me. Because God knows the truth, I know the truth, most of the world knows the truth, and I genuinely believe that Allah is the best of planners, and whatever happens to me, regardless of whether I am martyred, regardless of whether they put a bullet in my brain, I know what I have done is good for the world, and the things I will do will continue to be good for the world. Get your checkbooks out, or don't email me at all, because there will be no compromise. I don't care what you try and do and say to goad me into an interview. You can lie about me all you want. It's what you do already. I'm not afraid of your lies. It's going to cost 50 grand plus a box of chocolates.
Right, so there you have it. So that's us reacting to the Andrew Tate. I don't even know what you'd really even call it, to be quite honest with you. Off the top of my head, statement, that's it. Statement to the mainstream media following the interview with the BBC. So, like I say, you know, my personal opinion is I agree with him 110%. You know, me personally, I support Andrew Tate, you know, sort of thing. I always have done for quite a long time. That's just my personal opinion, you know, sort of thing, or personal views. And I think I can relate to him. Maybe it's because I'm a male and, you know, he does speak a lot for males and mental health and well-being and how to get up in the morning and stop feeling depressed. So, you know, naturally, I'm not going to feel he's a bad force to the world. But, you know, there's nothing in that I couldn't agree with more. And if anyone watching this does get famous one day, yeah, just don't do anything with the mainstream media, man. They paint you a bad picture. Unless you join the Matrix, and then obviously they'll paint you perfect, but then you'll probably be involved in dodgy fucking dealings. And I'm not going to name any conspiracies or anything because I watch a lot of them, but, you know, I already have a few names in my head, you know, that people watch every day who are just Matrix to fuck. But, you know, thanks for watching. please like and subscribe. And if you want to see more of this, and also leave a comment below what's your thoughts, on this. If you can relate to it, if you agree with some of the things that I said, or maybe something you don't agree with, because at the end of the day, we should all just respect each other's opinion, sort of thing. And I don't think anyone should be shunned for having an opposite opinion to something and expressing that. We should all be, debating this and respecting each other's opinion, and then we can grow together and get stronger, healthier, and smarter. But yeah, peace.